and gentlemen, the sun will soon find its home in the western sky, and it will be Saturday night in Death Valley.
Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Tigers Roar. Spread the roar. I'm Tommy Krysan along with Jordy Hultberg. I always say thank you for watching. I really mean it tonight because if you're watching me right now, you've kicked off the World Series for a minute or two. Maybe you don't care about the World Series. I think a lot of people do. It's tied at 1 in the 4th inning. Jordy Hultberg, good evening. How are you?
Can we watch the game while we do this?
You know what? I've been known to multitask.
Is that what you're doing on that thing right there?
No. That's important information.
Important information.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Anyway, go ahead.
No, aside from Game 7 going on, there's a pretty big game Saturday night that the nation will be paying attention to. I don't know if the same number will watch that are watching the World Series tonight, and people are going to catch us on their replays and the rebroadcast or on YouTube, and that's all fine and dandy. But, Jordy, it's a little bit closer. 2-week hype, although the first week was kind of moderate. But now it's getting closer. The coaches have had their pressers and players have talked. And, you know, everybody from Alabama's chiming in Baton Rouge, and everybody in Baton Rouge is chiming in Alabama. The fans are already arriving in town. There's a buzz throughout South Louisiana. I talked to Eric Asher down in New Orleans today. He said, the people are buzzing down there about this game.
It's a good thing, and it's good for the players to be buzzing a little bit. It's inevitable. They have to be, and that's what it's the old cliche. That's what you come to this school to do, and you get to play against the best team in the country, see how you measure up, and hey, you got a chance, and that's all you need. You got a chance.
You used the term last week or so. LSU football is relevant again. In the college football playoff rankings, 14th, 15th in the nation. We know Alabama's number 1, and a lot of people think LSU has a chance to win this football game.
And it's very strange, but everything is set up and it's a big if, and it will take a lot of things to happen, but if LSU could get this game and then move on and continue along, the path is set for them.
Got to get Auburn to lose somewhere, though.
Well, we got to pull for Alabama one time. And that's when they play against Auburn.
And that'll be on the Saturday after Thanksgiving if you want to think ahead
there's a lot of
ground to cover.
A lot of things that have to take place for that to happen. But again, as we mentioned last week, a month ago, it was like, man, there's no shot. You can forget it. They're too good. It's not the case anymore. And Saturday night's going to be special. It's going to be one of those nights in Tiger Stadium that everybody buys a whole set of season tickets for that one game. And that game is now.
Now, Jordy, you many times in your basketball career experienced the treat of playing the number 1 team in the nation, including in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center when you guys took Kentucky down. Talk about what it feels like when that athlete, and everybody said this, you get that chance, you get that opportunity to play the number 1 team in the land. You've been there and done that, albeit a different sport. I mean, that day, is it a little bit different than other days?
It's a little bit different. And as a competitor,
even if you try to say, it's a game, no, you can't do that.
You can't. And I've said this before. It hits you when you leading up to the game and then the tip. And then there's another game until about 5 minutes left in the game. And you're looking at that scoreboard and you're going, hey, we've gotten to this point. Let's finish the deal. And we can finish the deal. And the same thing will happen in the football game if it remains like it has for so many times. The past 2 times LSU and Alabama have played in Baton Rouge, Bama's had to go down the field at the end of the game to win it.
Right.
So LSU's been in the hunt. And I think they'll be in the hunt again Saturday night.
Well, and again, we kind of mentioned it. I'm going to mention it again. You can't, it's not possible to go, it's another Saturday, it's another opponent, it's another conference game. You can't, you might think you can do that, but if you're in those shoes and you were as a basketball player, you can't do it. I mean, and especially now, you didn't have the internet when you played. Well, they had internet, but not as we know it now. I mean, now you can't help but hear the hype. Back then, you probably, Coach Brown, by the way, a little happy birthday to Coach Brown, 81 earlier this week.
Who did he share a birthday with?
Nick Saban.
Nick Saban, 65.
Yeah. But, you, in a way, Coach Brown could have shielded you guys a little bit, from –
He didn't want us to be shielded.
I'm talking about from the media, which was nothing then.
No, it's nothing. But he didn't want us to. He wanted us to savor the
opportunity. What would Coach Brown? We saw Coach Orgeron's reaction, defensive back Dwayne Thomas, popping off a little bit. He didn't like it. I'm sure he had a conversation with Dwayne Thomas, and they can leave that between themselves.
Right.
What would Coach Brown's reaction have been if a couple days before the game you said, we're just going to pick them apart and beat them by 20?
Probably wouldn't have liked it.
Now, he might have, deep down,
but he would say that in the locker room. Oh, he said that all week long heading into the Kentucky game. Well, we're going to beat these guys.
We will win.
We will beat these guys.
Yeah, but he didn't want to go put that in the newspaper.
It was different. It was so different back then. We didn't have all those people around. But, and for the first time in a long time, it's not LSU versus Saban and all the venom towards Saban. I'm sure he'll get his share of boos, as he always does, but it's more about the respect of Alabama. And I respect Alabama like I respect Kentucky basketball because they've done it for so long, been so consistent, and they get everybody's best shot. Everybody's best shot, and they are always, 9 times out of 10, up to the challenge.
I think LSU fans can put a lot of confidence in Ed Orgeron and this staff. There's enough experience on this staff. They've been in bowl games. They've been in big games. Many of them, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but many of them have probably played a number 1 team at some point or another, be it at home, be it on the road, in some form or fashion. So I think the LSU fans can have confidence that Ed Orgeron is going to have these guys mentally where he wants them to be come 7 o'clock Saturday night. He's already said that physically they're in as good a shape as you could hope for in the first week of November.
Right.
So that's a plus. Now they said today here on Wednesday that Weathersby might not start, but should be able to play. So everybody should be good to go. Now it's time to get them ready mentally, implement a game plan, execute a game plan, and get a lucky bounce or two. You're going to need all that.
I have been fortunate in my career to have been in locker rooms where LSU was playing against the number 1 team in the country, whether it be Florida back in '96 or in Tuscaloosa for the game of the century. I've been in LSU locker rooms for baseball prior to a national championship. I've been in the Hornets locker rooms of the NBA, ready for a Game 7 against San Antonio. And there's one common theme. I don't care if you're 35 years old or you're 18 years old. You're excited to be in the moment. You're thankful to be in the moment. And everybody in those situations, it's the greatest team unifier of anything I've ever seen before. It is, we're all in this thing together. It's going to take all of us to do it. And by golly, let's go do it. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But that moment in that locker room, it doesn't matter if you're making $10 million a year or you're on a scholarship as a walk-on, you're a walk-on freshman, but you're part of a team. And it is an amazing moment when they gather for that last time. It's amazing.
Is it true in this case of football, when the ball's kicked off, then it becomes a football game?
I don't think so.
I mean, when y'all tipped it off against Kentucky, thing was nuts for 40 overtime, right?
You know it's different. You know it's different.
Yeah, and again, you can pretend.
But you understand that every possession is of tantamount importance. And if you turn it over, by golly, you better go get a turnover to even it all up. So, anyway.
All right. Well, there you go.
Cubs lead 2-1.
Cubs, and again, you talk about every pitch means something in Game 7. It's going to be a great story either way it goes. Long drought for either team from having won a World Series.
174 combined years of futility. 174.
I read-
Somebody is the drought's going to end for somebody. There's going to be a flood either in Cleveland or Chicago.
I read somewhere there was this list compiled of all the things that have happened since the Cubs last won a World Series.
Oh, my
And
gosh.
it's amazing.
A lot of things were invented.
Haley's Comet went twice.
A lot of things
the
were invented.
NFL started.
Yes.
The NBA started.
Yes.
I mean, we can go on and on, you know. I mean, gee. But anyway, well, look, coming up on tonight's program, we got a lot for you. And again, the original airing of this program each and every week is is on Wednesday night. There are replays throughout the weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday on Pelican Sports TV, on WHNO TV Channel 20 out of New Orleans. It's also on the ETEL cable system. And sometime Thursday morning, it'll be up on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. You can watch us at your convenience. On the show tonight, we're going to hear from Ed Orgeron. We're going to hear from several LSU football players. We got a small clip from Nick Saban. We got a little New Orleans Saints for you. They've been doing a little bit
Who
better
that, baby?
lately.
Big win over Seattle.
We'll hear from that. And then a record-setting performance by Leonard Tillery, Southern University Jaguar running back, now the all-time greatest leader in the SWAC rushing yardage.
That says a lot.
Walter Payton was in that conference. So we got all of that. We'll have Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com. And we'll have Ronnie Rance of Sports Shorts Radio.
We're not getting either one of those guys. They'll be watching the World Series.
No, they
we won't
both
get either
told me they
one.
were gonna
Oh,
be
you
there.
watch. You watch.
You going 0 for 2 with
Oh,
them?
I'm going 0
Ryan
for.
will answer. Ronnie, you might be 1 for 2.
0 for.
All right, we're going to come back with much more. In fact, we're going to come back and tell you about all kind of good stuff from Tremonti's Meat and Seafood when we return after this pause. Tigers Roar, Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans. On the internet, PelicanSportsTV.com. Stay with us.
We want you. Immediately after the LSU game, it's Pelican Sports post-game show with Tommy Chrysan and Buddy Sanji. We'll have reports from the stadium, statistics, and game analysis. Your phone calls and text messages are welcome. The Pelican Sports post-game show right after the LSU game on Pelican Sports TV and CBS Sports Radio.
Here at Rejuva-Me Medical, we strive to accomplish a more youthful you. We specialize in the most advanced techniques of testosterone replacement therapy in men, bioidentical hormone replacement in women, IV therapy, and nutritional support along with the state-of-the-art cosmetics procedures. Experience a network of trainers and health coaches offering diet and nutritional plans tailored to you. Call us today to schedule your free consultation to discuss your individual needs and goals. Look like you live younger.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
Perkins Road Veterinary Hospital is a full-service veterinary hospital committed to your pet's health. We offer advanced diagnostic and therapeutic medical services, laser surgery, dog and cat diets, and treats, along with stress-free boarding. Dr. Ritchie sees patients for routine checkups to keep your loved ones happy, also advanced medical and surgical cases. We have separate condos for cat boarding and large climate-controlled canine boarding. Our boarding dogs get to have fun in a very large play yard several times a day. Laser therapy is a service that we offer to heal wounds and help our patients that suffer from chronic pain. Laser therapy is a wonderful adjunct treatment for neurologic and arthritic pain with no side effects. Your pets are family members and deserve the best and highest quality of care. Dr. Ritchie and his staff greatly respect the human-animal bond and are committed to exceeding your expectations.
Look Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge. Come see this community, which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. Beautiful views of Cypress Lake. 1, 2, 3-bedroom apartments are available. Stop by and see Cypress Lake Apartments. Give them a call at 225-293-6789 or visit online, cypresslake-apartments.net.
We continue with Tigers Roar here on Pelican Sports TV. I hold in my hand Tremonti's Sprinkle Spice.
You like
Jordy
that,
brought
don't
me
you?
some of this the other day. I'm going to tell y'all like it is. I had another brand, I'll be honest. I have changed it. The other one is gone. Tremonti's Sprinkle Spice, all-purpose seasoning. I put it on steaks. I put it in my vegetables. I'm putting it everywhere. I put it on fried eggs.
I was going to say,
it's really,
delicious.
really good. It'll always be in my spice rack forever. Tremonti's Sprinkle Spice all-purpose seasoning. It is the best. I promise you, you need to try it. And you got more to tell us about with Tremonti's.
Well, they've got so many great things. We got big ball game coming up against Alabama. What kind of tailgating platter do you want? They've got anything you want. Just call them 751-7665. They've got the best Chairman's Reserve and prime steaks in the world. Spirits, they just had a big old Sinatra, Jack Daniel's Sinatra. They sold that. And this, I must tell you, is the greatest invention known to people that love to barbecue. This is called the electrolyte. You don't need starter fluid. You don't need anything. You put the charcoal in the pit, you put this thing and you press it on there for 50 seconds to a minute, and you've got a flame that's up here and your charcoal's ready in 5 minutes and you are good to go. It's the greatest invention ever.
Especially if you're grilling.
And I love
most
to grill.
people grill.
I love to grill. I love to chill. And this is the greatest thing ever. You can get it at Tremonti's as well. Right there at 12451 Old Jefferson Highway. Thanksgiving, we're in the month of November. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. Nobody does fried and rotisserie turkeys better with all the fixing and all the trimmings. It's just a great place. It's amazing. You've been in there. All the things they can put in that one little shop. It's incredible. So tailgating needs, we're ready for you. Thanksgiving time's coming, and for all you that love to chill and grill, this electrolyte is a must. Girls, take care of your husbands. Get them this for a little early Christmas present. You're going to love it because they're going to cook all the time, and you don't have to. Simple.
Hey, there you go. Gift cards are available,
Yes,
too. Anybody
yes.
out there want to give me a Tremonti's gift card, I'll gladly accept
You
it.
took the hat last week.
No,
I may
the
take
hat.
this.
What? No, I'm going to trade you the hat.
I'm going to give the Heisman pose, baby.
No, I actually
Heisman.
got compliments on my
Heisman,
hat
that's
with
it.
the Tremonti's logo. And I'm telling you again, get on this Sprinkle Spice stuff. It'll be the only thing in your spice rack.
Fun place
that
to
you
go.
need.
Fun place to go. Lunches every day. It's terrific.
It's going to be fun on the campus, maybe already. I don't know. It'll be packed Friday night.
Do we have to work Friday?
Baseball you don't have to. Baseball got the Purple and Gold Series Thursday and Friday night. There's a big
Put that
concert
back.
near campus on
Everybody's
Friday.
got the quick fingers around here. They want the hat, they want the spices, they want this.
That's a fact, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to guard that with my life.
Ed Orgeron met
Yes.
with the media earlier this week.
Hold that tiger. Hold that tiger.
He's something. He loves his job, doesn't he?
He doesn't. He does.
All right, well, you got the opening comments from his presser a little bit earlier this week. We wanted you to hear from the man. LSU says they're 3-0 in the season of Orgeron. First coach in the history of LSU football, modern era, to win his first 3 games by double digits. Here's the opening comments from earlier this week from Tiger head football coach Ed Orgeron.
Hello, welcome everybody. We had a tremendous open date. Really loved the attitude of our players on Tuesday and Wednesday. Came out to work, gave us 2 great days of work. We had a tremendous what we call Tiger Bowl on Thursday. Younger guys got to show their talents, had a lot of fun. The older guys got to practice, got to coach, and we had a tremendous day. Then our guys got to go home for the weekend. Spent some much needed time with their families. I thought it was really good. Guys were excited to go see their families and came back with a tremendous attitude. I'm looking forward to see our team today. Today's Tell the Truth Monday. And the truth is we got a great Alabama team coming into town. And it's going to be prime time football. It's why you come to LSU. It's why you come to coach LSU. we understand the rivalry. I understand it. Our team understands it. We understand the importance of this football game, but it's game 4 of our new season. And that's the way we're going to treat it. We're going to have a tremendous practice one day at a time. The key is for us to explode at Saturday night at 7 o'clock. I know that the Tiger Walk is going to be something special. I know that Tiger Stadium is going to be something special that night. One of the greatest venues in all of college football in the world to play. So we're looking forward to playing Alabama at our home on Saturday night at 7. Now, talking about the Alabama Crimson Tide, 8-0, 20-game winning streak. Coached by one of the greatest coaches in college football history, Nick Saban, has done a tremendous job along with his staff. Offensively, as you guys know, I know Lane Kiffin very well. He's a great play caller. He's a great game day caller. He can see things very fast. He knows what the defense does, and he knows the right play to call. You can see him changing plays on the sideline. He's excellent at it. He was born with a football in his hand under Monty Kiffin and been studying defense with Monty Kiffin all his life. So he knows defenses, he knows offenses, he knows what hurts it, and he knows how to do a great job on game day. He's averaging almost 500 yards a game, 44 points per game, does a tremendous job. He has freshman in Jalen Hurts. It's like defending the Wildcat back there. There's another guy that can run the football, another tailback back there. You have to consider him as one that can also throw the ball. I really like their offensive line. I think it's the best offensive line we've seen, led by Cam Robinson, who's a great left tackle. The thing I like about their offensive line is they execute. It's nothing fancy, but they come off the football, they double team, you come off of blocks, and their backs hit the hole very quick. O.J. Howard is obviously the best tight end we've played against. Lane knows how to use them. He uses them on the boots, waggles, blocks very well, and also can stretch the field. On defense, obviously the best defense we've seen. Might want to be one of the best defenses in college football history. We'll see at the end of the year. The thing that's not surprising, but really amazing, they have 64 tackles for losses and 32 sacks. And we have to protect our quarterback. It's going to be protection first. We have to protect our quarterback in order to get the ball down the field. We're going to have to do some things with Leonard that enable him to be in space and run the football. I think their defensive line is very well coached. Carl Dunbar is a great LSU Tiger here, played for Pete Jenkins and is a Pete Jenkins mentor. And as you know, we got Pete with us, and those guys do the same techniques as he taught for all these years. On special teams, they're very explosive, and they're very solid across the board. The only thing that makes them win is they're efficient, well coached, and they're +4 in the turnover ratio. They go get the football. They're very opportunistic, and they take care of the football on offense. Getting back to our team, we're going to be excited to play. We're glad to have Leonard back. We're glad to have Dave Aranda in the defense doing the things that they're doing. We're getting better on special teams. Steve Ensminger is doing a great job, along with our whole offensive staff, of calling plays and getting the ball in the playmakers' hands. So we got a lot of work to do this week. We're going to take it one game at a time, and we'll be ready to play on Saturday night.
We continue with Tigers Roar, Ed Orgeron. I mean, this is really special for him. He won't say that. He's not going to be selfish. He knows it's about the players, it's about the teams, about the fans, all that good stuff. But deep down, I bet when he puts his head on the pillow every night this week, he's thinking, hey.
This is the ultimate audition.
This is the ultimate audition,
Yes.
Almost a dream come true. Yeah. And he's coaching at the place he loves, and he gets to play the #1 team in the nation. I mean, it's just one of his good friends is a coach on the other side.
Right.
I mean, all right, question for you before we go to break. And if you want to say, I'll answer it later in the show, you can.
Okay, listen.
Your reaction to the thought that if LSU wins Saturday night, Sunday they make Orgeron the permanent head coach.
No. Because what happens if you lose to Arkansas like we've done many, many times the
Well,
following
last
week.
2 years, yeah.
And they still have to,
So
Florida's
you just say that's a big feather in the hat?
big feather in the hat.
Maybe a double
moves
feather?
the percentages up
Okay.
exponentially.
But you don't think they should
But he's
do
got to
that if they
close out
win?
the year. He's got to close it out.
Yeah, because you're right. In theory, they could lose the
They
next
could go
3.
0-3
Yeah,
after that.
yeah.
Then what do you do
Into
then?
Fayetteville, Florida's defense is good. I don't know about their offense.
Got to go
And
to
then you
Kyle
gotta go to
Field.
Kyle
Short
Field.
week.
Okay. So you don't think it happens
I
if he
don't.
wins 48-0? It ain't happening.
I still don't think it happens.
Or that you don't think it should happen.
I don't think it should happen. I don't think it will happen. I think everybody will be in euphoria, but I think calmer heads will prevail and say, okay, wait.
That's part of the process.
It's part of the process.
Okay.
They
All right.
said last year they were going to evaluate at the end of the season. They will say the same thing this time. They will evaluate at the
I'll go
end
with
of
that.
the season.
I'll go with you.
We'll
All right,
see.
we'll take a break, come back and hear more.
48-0, really? Maybe they will give it to them.
I was being hypothetical. I don't think they'll win 48-0.
Wow.
We're going to come back with more of Ed Orgeron, the question and answer session of his presser. Some really good questions, some really interesting stuff that you need to know as we get you ready, set for this game.
Put this on anything. It tastes better.
Fried eggs, it's good. I mean, I whipped up a couple of
Everything.
eggs the other day, a little
Everything.
bit. Good to go. You don't need anything else. Leave everything else in the spice rack. Go with this. I promise you. We'll be right back. Tigers Roar, Pelican Sports TV. Stay with us.
For over 26 years, Hunt's Tire Pros has served Baton Rouge, making you, the customer, priority number one. Nationwide warranties, better prices, and excellent service are just a few ways we do just that. It starts with our hassle-free experience, where you're only sold what you need when you need it. So for quality service you can trust for generations to come, and all the great tire brands like Michelin and B.F. Goodrich, visit Hunt's Tire Pros on Greenville Springs Road or online at huntstire.com.
My name is Dr. Nicole Rogers, and I'm here in Old Metairie, Louisiana at Hair Restoration of the South, where your hair is our care. And I'd like to invite you to come and visit and discuss various options for treatment of thinning hair. These can include both medical and surgical options. You don't have to go straight to surgery. In the meantime, feel free to check out our website, hairrestorationofthesouth.com, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Attention small business owners. Penn Funding announces the easiest and fastest business funding program, the Platinum Business Account.
We needed cash fast. Business is good, but this is an emergency. We needed some new equipment, and the banks wouldn't help us.
At Penn Funding, we like to say yes, you're approved. With your Platinum Business Account, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more. This amazing new business account funding program is so effective, you could have the cash you need in just days.
I called, spoke with an agent who pre-qualified us, and connected me.
Call now for your Platinum Business Account. If you've been in business for at least 6 months, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more in just days.
I called Penn Funding and had my money fast.
Need cash for your business? Call Penn Funding now.
Call 800-552-8621. 800-552-8621.
We continue with Tigers Roar here in Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans. It's now
Waveland Avenue is going nuts. 4-1 Cubbies. Baez hits a home run in the top of the 5th inning.
solo
shot.
homer to right center. Kluber out of the game. Into the Indian bullpen they go. Also earlier this week, the other part of the Monday presser, questions and answers from the media. There was one really bad question. I hate to make fun of this person, but there was a female who asked probably the worst question.
What was it?
I can tell you this. Not that I've been to every press conference, but it's the worst press conference question I think I've ever heard.
You got my suspense. Tell me. You're killing me. What was it?
She asked Ed Orgeron, how would this game impact his players' careers in the NFL?
Ooh.
Other than that, there's some really good stuff here. Ed Orgeron asking some real answers. The really good. Rest of the questions are really, really good. Okay? And we want to share this with you as we get you ready, set for Saturday night. Don't forget, immediately following the game, the Pelican Sports post-game show, Buddy Sanji and I, your phone calls, your text messages, right after the game, radio and TV. Be a traffic jam leaving the joint. Get us on the smartphones. If you're tailgating, put it on the computer. TV repeats Sunday morning at 9 and at 10:30, back-to-back airings. Get with us right after the game.
Before we toss to that, can I just guess as to how he responded?
Said it had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, we're not
He said it has
fooling
nothing
with
to
that.
do with it. He
Yeah.
said it's got nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, here is Coach Ed Orgeron's question and answer session from Monday.
Coach, Dwayne Thomas recently gave an interview where he said something along the lines of dominating Alabama's offense, and some people may say that's bulletin board material. Other people say LSU needs to have an attitude and kind of have some swagger to believe they can win this game. Where do you stand on that?
That's wrong. You shouldn't have said it. And no, you don't win the game in the papers. You win the game on Saturday night. So I'm going to have a little conversation with Dwayne.
Hey, Coach, what do you expect out of Danny Etling? What does he need to do for your football team against this defense you're talking about?
You know, first of all, we're proud of Danny Etling and what he's done and the type of young man he is and what he means to our football team. He's a quiet leader. He leads by example. He's a hard worker. He takes hits back there, doesn't say a word, and wants to get better. Is always in the office studying film, getting better. So the type of young man he is, we're very proud that he's our quarterback. He has to manage the game. He's going to get hit. He's probably going to get sacked once or twice. He needs to take care of that football, set his jaw, and come back and play again. Manage the game, call the plays, and just do the things that Coach Ensmith is asking him to do.
Coach, in the back, Alabama seems to be a strong second-half team. Do you think it's because of their adjustments, substitutions, or conditioning?
Could you say that again? I couldn't hear it.
I said Alabama seems to be a very strong second-half team. And do you think that's because of the adjustments they make, their conditioning, or substitutions?
I think it's a combination of both. They're very well coached, and if they're like anything, I would imagine that they make adjustments right away when it happens on the sideline. They fix things just as our staff does. I think they're very well conditioned. They have an excellent strength coach. They're big. They have depth. So all those things combined for a great second-half team. But so are we. You know, we've outscored our guys 73-7. It should be a battle.
Ed, over here on your left. What makes a play caller great? You talked about Lane having the anticipation of a game.
Yeah.
Is it just the feel for the unexpected or mixing it up?
I think it's knowledge. I think that Lane's very knowledgeable. He has a game plan. He'll call a play, but he sees them in a different defense. He can change it. I think his communication skills are excellent, and he's a big fundamental football coach, and he has great players.
Ed, do you expect to play Toby, start him on the offensive line this?
Yeah, we're going to see it this week as it goes, but obviously if he's ready to go, we're going to put him in. I think he's going to be well. And if he has a good week of practice, you know, Tuesday's going to be a big day. We're going to go one-on-ones and stuff like that and see how he feels, if he's not too sore or anything. But if he's able to start, we're going to start him.
What are the options for Maya? What do you do with him if Toby goes in, you know?
Yeah, I'll let Jeff handle that. He's the manager, and I would be telling you something that, you know, Jeff has a couple options there. We'll talk about it. We talk about our personnel on Friday, how we're going to play everybody. So we won't know till Friday.
Coach, how do you think this game will impact your seniors' NFL careers?
Can you say that again?
How do you think this game will impact your seniors' NFL careers?
How this team will impact?
How do you think this game will impact your seniors' NFL careers? Because I know you have a lot of seniors this year.
Okay. Well, that's the furthest thing from my mind. I can promise you that. And we don't discuss that. I think that those guys are motivated to play for the LSU football team and their team. And then we talk about that stuff after the season.
I know when you were still at USC, you were recruiting Leonard. What did you think of him as a player at that point in time? And did you ever feel like you had a legitimate chance to get him?
I'll answer that last one. No. Frank Wilson was recruiting him. No. He came out to camp. Really liked him. And I didn't know him that well. I'd call him every once in a while, and he'd be doing push-ups, sit-ups, and talked to his dad a little bit, and just was amazed at a high-character kid he was. When he came to camp, we felt that he would be a great player, but I had no idea the type of football player he'd turn out to be. I think he's the best football player in the country. I think he's one of the best football players I've ever been around.
Coach, last year Alabama all but shut down Leonard Fournette. What'll change this week to make that different?
Last year, Alabama shut down Fournette. What's going to be different this year? Is that your question? Hopefully a lot. We're going to do some things with Leonard that he's able to do. I think that this is whatever happened last year is the past. And we're going to have a great game plan for Leonard. But I will say this to you, that it's going to be very tough moving the football on this defense. They're one of the best defense I've ever seen.
Yeah, Ed, over here. How would you compare the Alabama this year and say last year to say some of the USC teams that you were assistant on?
Yeah, very, very similar. I think they're better defensively. They're stronger. They're stouter. They play with great technique. They're very opportunistic, like I said. And on offense, they're a spread offense. I mean, you think of the great Alabama teams, great on special teams, great on defense, maybe scoring 25, 30 points a game. This team's able to score 50 points a game with Lane in there. And he can hit the long ball at any time. He's great at the nakeds, the waggles, and the boots. He just has a complete package.
Coach, here in the middle, all the changes that you made offensively and all the different things you were doing and your ability to throw the football, how much better equipped do you think it makes you to give you a chance to win the game on Saturday night?
I do believe it gives us a great chance of moving the football and able to be able to spread the field, be able to take shots, be able to protect the quarterback first. That's going to be the whole key of the game. Be able to get Leonard the football in some plays that we think that he runs very well. And second of all, to protect the quarterback. We know we can, we think that we can get some receivers down the field, but we got to be able to protect them long enough to be able to protect the quarterback to get those plays down the field, and that's going to be the key to the game.
Coach in the middle here, Brent Martell with Associated Press. Hey, we've heard you say since you took over that what LSU does here is not about you, and I think everybody gets that. Yet, how can you reconcile that with, I guess, the fact that the outcome of this game could have a considerable effect on your coaching career and your legacy as a coach?
Last thing, that's way out there, man. I didn't even think about that. The focus is about these players, the LSU family, about to tell the truth Monday, one day at a time. Look, these next 4 weeks are going to pass fast. My job is to do the best thing I can do for this team today, let the chips fall where they may, and everything's going to take care of itself.
Coach, over here on the left, bottom left, no players on this team have beaten Bama. Can you sense the hunger for this group, especially older guys, to get a win?
I think it's a combination of both. It's respect. They do respect this football team. They do want to have success against them. I think that 2 years ago that they felt that they played good enough to win the game, and some unfortunate things happened. Last year they handed it to us, and we know that. Similar, like we knew that Ole Miss handed it to us over there, and we had a chip on our shoulder against Ole Miss. So I expect those guys to come out hungry, wanting to win the football game, obviously. But they know that the type of football game we have to play in order to have success against this team.
Yeah, Coach, on the flip side of that, do you feel this losing streak wearing on the fan base, on the community that wants so desperately to see LSU beat Alabama?
Yeah, I went to my son's game this week at McNeese State, and I kind of felt that a little bit. But look, hey, I'm from Louisiana. I'm a Tiger fan too, so I get it. I get it. Everywhere I've been, I put on the LSU Alabama game, whether it was in Miami, New York, or USC. Want to see it and cheer for the Tigers. I get the passion, and that's the way it should be. And I know that the people are not satisfied with the way it's gone, and I get that. So we understand that. But you know what? When we walk in that stadium Saturday night, it's not going to be about that. It's going to be about getting our cleats in the grass and playing fundamentals and taking care of that football.
And Alabama's sack numbers, is that scheme, or do they just have physically superior players?
Both. I think they have great pass rush technique. They have great scheme. They overpower you. They overscheme you. They know how to attack protections. We're going to need to be really good and smart the way we protect our quarterback.
Coach, being a defensive coach in college football, do you ever look at Nick as the kind of the gold standard of what you can accomplish defensively? And do you then ever marvel at his ability to roll classes through but still keep the same consistency?
Yeah. You know, you look at the recruiting classes he's had top recruiting classes. I've tried to get a lot of these guys that he's recruiting. I know the type of player he recruits. The guy does an excellent job. He's a great defensive coach. He's been a great defensive coach. He's had great defensive lines. That's where it all starts. Very fast, big and physical at linebacker, and in the right position. You know, a lot of respect for what he does.
Hey, Ed, back here on the left, speaking of that talent, when you look at your roster and you look at Nick's roster, can you make an argument that Saturday night's matchup, the talent that will take the field on both sides, may be one of the greatest collections of talent collectively that you've come across in any individual game?
Yeah, at some positions, no question. Some positions, yes. And we like our football team. We like the guys that we have. We think that we still need to get better at some positions to get to where we want to be. But obviously, it's a great group of young men on both sides.
Coach, how have you used these 2 weeks leading into the game to monitor Leonard's ankle and try to keep him in game shape without you know, keeping him off it to an extent? Or
Well, he did some things, you know, conditioning-wise, not on the football field, and that we feel that he's going to be in better condition. Obviously, we limited his reps, but he did get some good work. We kind of monitored it as we went on. Jack Marucci does a great job along with Tommy Moffitt, so I listen to what those guys tell me, we do it.
Coach, Tierra Gibson, in the past you guys have been a little bit of a slower starting team, being tied at halftime with Southern Miss and Ole Miss. I'm just curious if you guys are working on any improvements to be able to start a little bit faster so that what happened to Tennessee doesn't happen to LSU.
Well, you bring up a very good point, you know, but I'm going to tell you what my mentor, Pete Carroll, told me. You can't win the game in the first quarter. You can't win the game in the second quarter. You can't win it at halftime. You can't win it in the third quarter, but you darn sure better win it in the fourth quarter. So we're happy with what we're doing at halftime adjustments. We're happy with what we're doing in the second half, but we know you bring up a point. We need to start faster. We need to make some good decisions on defense, some good decisions on special teams, and protect the quarterback to be able to play against Alabama. We don't want to get behind against a great football team.
Hey, Ed. Because they're so good at turning turnovers into touchdowns on defense, how do you balance that with your desire to, as you said, be aggressive on offense and try to balance that aggressiveness with taking chances but not making the kind of mistakes that could cost you?
You have to be smart. It's about protection first. It's really about protection first, and to make sure that nobody's free, make sure that the guy that's blocking the guy he's supposed to can block him, and he has a proper technique. And that's what it all starts to me. And then taking care of the football. Our guys have done a pretty good job the last couple of weeks of taking care of the football, the running backs. Danny, don't make any decisions. Don't force the ball where you don't need to because they're going to get it. And then again, realize that they're going to make plays too. This is going to be a battle. Those guys are going to make plays. If we do make a mistake, we have to wipe it out and go on to the next play. And we have to, on special teams, take care of the ball, go get it, make some plays on special teams, and also continue to create turnovers on defense. We have to match them.
Coach in the back, for this game, it seems like there would be a lot of nerves and pressure going into it. So what do you do to keep yourself and your team mentally prepared and focused for this game?
Say that again now.
What is it that you do to kind of keep yourself mentally prepared and focused? Because it seems like there would be a lot of nerves and pressure going into this game.
Thank you. You know, here's the whole thing, and every week brings a different distraction. So we stay on our regiment, tell the truth Monday, competition Tuesday, no turnover Wednesday, no repeat Thursday, focus Friday, and before you know it, it's Saturday. And on Saturday, in our hotel, we have a strict regiment of things that we do to keep them focused. Now, obviously, there's going to be college game day there. Guys are going to be watching. It's a late night, 7 o'clock game. They're going to watch those things, and we can't stop that. They're going to be on their Twitter. They're going to do things. They're going to call their girlfriends. Everybody does that. But when we get them there, we have little drills, we have little sayings that click them back in. So hopefully that regiment and that routine in Game 4 is going to pay off Saturday night.
Hey, Coach. Mario Jerez, Spanish play-by-play man. A few weeks ago, you talked about maturing as a head coach, and you've coached against some good teams before. And obviously, this is a huge game for the team and for the program. But just talking about yourself, what makes you think that you're more ready for the challenge now, leading your team against the #1 team in college football?
Well, we have a good team. We have good players. I'm at a good school. We have a great coaching staff. And we're playing at home. We're playing the best stadium in the world to play, so all those things are an advantage. This ain't nothing about me. I think I'm more prepared to lead a football team because I'm able to delegate authority. I let guys do what they need to do. And again, when I took over this team, I knew we had a good football team. And it was our job to put them in position to make plays. But as you see, we're starting to play as one team, one heartbeat, and that's my whole objective.
Coach, here in the back, kind of like the bulletin board material question earlier, when it comes to, I guess, trying to change a mentality and change the outcome of the last few matchups against Bama, is there a balance you have to have between the confidence and then the bulletin board side?
I think it's the way we approach a football game. You can go into a season and you can put red letter games and you can say, hey, we're going to do everything we can do to beat this football team and then not play good against this football team. I think that's the wrong approach. I really do. I think that when you go through the season, if you treat every opponent the same and you treat them the same in your preparation, that you're going to have a consistent effort with your football team. But obviously you need to be smart and know that this is a rivalry game, know that guys are going to be excited. The motivation is going to come from within, so we'll be ready to play. The way I'm going to talk to the team today, they're going to understand how much confidence I have in this football team against a great Alabama football team.
Back in the middle here, could you recall your first impressions of Alabama defensive lineman Jonathan Allen and also how you view his development as a player?
Yeah. I see him jumping over that tailback that tried to cut him and hitting the quarterback underneath the jaw. Great effort, tremendous athlete, good hip flexibility, great hands, very well coached, and plays with a motor. I have a vision of that jumping over that tailback, hitting that quarterback.
Coach, people debate crowds' impacts on games. Alabama went to Tennessee, 100, 2,000, whatever, had no problem. Can Tiger Stadium really affect the game?
Yes. No question it does. It's an intimidating place to play. I've been on the other side. But here's what I tell our guys. Big plays fuel emotion. They're there. You got to give them something to cheer about. And obviously I know it's going to be very loud. It's going to be hard for those guys to make adjustments and calls when our fans are screaming. It is an advantage, no question.
You wouldn't imagine anyone would leave at halftime this week, would you?
Yeah, that's not my job. I know I won't be leaving at halftime for sure.
Ed, you said last week that you and Lane talk every week, but that you were cutting it off. This next 2 weeks. But you said you might ignore one of his calls if he called you last week. Did he ever call you?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that, but he knows we're not talking this week, and I'll talk to him after. He's a very dear friend of mine, and wish him the best in everything he does except this week.
So, and lastly, some of the other injury things like Shark, you mentioned, missed last week. Foster, I think, was out a little bit, and J.D. Moore. Give us an update on those guys.
Besides the guys that are out, besides the players that are out for the season, we should be at full speed come Saturday night. We're probably in the best shape we've been physically and injury-wise this Saturday night. Hey, thank you, guys. Hope you have a great day.
Speaking of baseball, I made the error later, so let us tell you about WUBR. 9:10 a.m. in Baton Rouge, available on the smartphones, online, the internet. tablets, mobile devices. CBS Sports Radio, great mixture of local programming as well as the national stuff. New program starts this Friday. Fridays only from 5 to 6. Sportsline with Dave Scandaliato. Of course, you got Jordy Hultberg, Buddy Sanji, myself, Ken Trahan's Original Prep Report. Carlos Brown on Saturday mornings from 10 to 12. You got Louisiana Tech Bulldog football. They're leading their division in Conference USA. Give it a listen. 24/7, all sports, all the time. Either the national stuff from CBS or the local programming lineup that we have for you. Again, get it on the smartphones. Post-game is simulcast there. When you're in traffic on Saturday night, you'll be able to check it out. WUBR. Search for that at TuneIn. WUBR.
It is an election year, so can we do like the pollsters do and declare a winner before it's over?
We're going to declare the Cubbies a winner in the bottom of the fifth.
5-1.
I'd say
5-1.
The percentages of the Cubbies winning are very high.
Yes.
Very, very, very high. I'm not going to declare a winner yet.
You're not
I'm
going to.
pulling for the Indians.
Okay.
So I'm a whole out hope that the tribe can rally. But I don't
hope
know.
so too.
We're going to take a break, come back. We'll hear some clips from some LSU football players. We'll let you hear from Danny Etling, Will Clapp, Colin Jeter, and Dante Jackson after this pause on Tigers Roar, Pelican Sports TV. Stay with us.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
We want you. Immediately after the LSU game, it's Pelican Sports post-game show with Tommy Chrysan and Buddy Sanji. We'll have reports from the stadium, statistics, and game analysis. Your phone calls and text messages are welcome. The Pelican Sports post-game show right after the LSU game on Pelican Sports TV and CBS Sports Radio.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house. The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions Now.
Call 800-404-0966. 800-404-0966.
Friends, family, and community in surrounding parishes who have lost vehicles due to the flood. North American Auto Group is here to help. We have discounted over 400 pre-owned vehicles with no water damage. In addition, we have lenders offering disaster relief financing programs. We will also help you with your insurance and GAP claims. Shop online at NorthAmericanAutoGroup.com or visit us at one of our 4 locations in Baton Rouge and Gonzales. North American Auto Group. We make it easy.
Here at Rejuva-Me Medical, we strive to accomplish a more youthful you. We specialize in the most advanced techniques of testosterone replacement therapy in men, bioidentical hormone replacement in women, IV therapy, and nutritional support along with the state-of-the-art cosmetics procedures. Experience a network of trainers and health coaches offering diet and nutritional plans tailored to you. Call us today to schedule your free consultation to discuss your individual needs and goals. Look like you live younger.
Accord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Accord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including Optimap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Accord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Accord Eye Clinic, Vision Source.
Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge. Come see this community, which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. Beautiful views of Cypress Lake. 1, 2, 3-bedroom apartments are available. Stop by and see Cypress Lake Apartments. Give them a call at 225-293-6789 or visit online, cypresslake-apartments.net.
We continue with Tigers Roar here on Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans. Internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. Don't forget YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. We put this program up on Thursday mornings. The post-game show will be up on Sunday. Got Rapping with BK, got Sports Shorts. You can watch some of our programs at your convenience at the YouTube page, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. John Lester's in for the Cubs. They're trying to nail this thing down. I don't want to go with the early prediction yet.
The early call? You're not going to make the early call?
I'm not going to go with that yet. I'm going to hang in there. And I would say this, if Cleveland was up 5-1 right now, I wouldn't call it over either. So we'll see what happens. All right, back to LSU, Alabama, that big game Saturday night. Danny Etling, Will Clapp, Colin Jeter, Dante Jackson all had some comments that we were able to capture and put together for you. Here now, some of those LSU Tigers talking about the matchup with the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Where do you see most people having success against their defense?
I think when you can kind of just do your assignments and execute your game plan, you can. When you watch the film, you can see the teams that really, whether it's only for a quarter or for a half, they executed their game plan for that portion of it, and they were able to kind of do what they wanted. But they get kind of caught up either with turnovers or momentum swings or something like that just doesn't get a kind of pushes them back, and all of a sudden, Alabama can jump on you and go ahead and beat you.
There have been times this year where you guys, as an offense, have pushed the ball, pushed the tempo a little bit against Bama, a team that does want to speed you up and get you, moving almost too fast for your own good. Do you have to slow it down a little bit, even if you don't want to?
I think you just want to play at your speed, and whatever you kind of go in there and do, you want to make sure that you're the one in control and you're the one on offense. So you don't want to make them make you do anything you don't want to do.
Obviously, it was not our best game last year, but we got to move on to that. It's a different year, different line. Just make sure that we, as a group, open up the holes, execute the game plan, and Leonard will do what he does. He'll have a good night.
Is it a case of wanting to forget it or use it as motivation or let it burn inside of you a little bit as to what happened?
Obviously, every year, we got to come out and do better. We got to learn from that last experience, make sure that as a group we don't let it happen again, and execute.
What do you think you learned, or what can you learn from it?
Obviously, last year we got to push back the line of scrimmage. Last year they kind of set us back, and this year we need to push them back. This stuff like that, and we've watched the film, and they're a great D-line, but we need to take what we can to our advantage.
Obviously, the first thing you look at with their defense is scoring defense. They've scored in however many straight games. And I just think there's a really technically sound and a smart defense and a whole team. I think they're good at what they do. Coach Saban does a good job of getting his team right every year, obviously. And I think the biggest thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to play our game. We can't make mistakes because they take advantage of them almost every time. So it's going to take our best effort because they're obviously a strong team. They're returning national champions, so they're going to come in here and give us their best. We're going to have to return the favor. So that's the biggest thing, just cleaning up our game and playing as technically sound and executing everything 100%.
We're a different team, they're a different team, so we just got to prepare like we prepare for a lot of different teams that we have done in the past and just get ready to play. Like, we got to come out here, not worrying about it, not worrying about what has happened in the past, and not worrying about, what those guys did, just worrying about, the task at hand. And, that's trying to get a W instead.
Dwayne loves to talk, but when you saw what he said last week, were you like, "That's Dwayne," or just?
I mean, it's Dwayne. That's just what he does. We don't really get hype about it. Because he does it a lot. But I mean, he's a pretty confident guy. So I mean, when we seen those comments, it was just like it's another Dwayne moment. So it's no biggie from a teammate standpoint.
You have a lot of Dwayne moments during the year?
Yeah, I mean, we're in the same room, same defensive back room. So, I mean, I hear a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't hear. A lot of other teammates don't hear. But when we seen it, it's just, it's no biggie. He's confident. He's ready to play. That's really all that means.
All right, we continue as the
I said that on purpose to jinx them. I said it on purpose to jinx them.
Did you really?
5-3.
All right, 5-3.
Let's make it a game.
Well, it's not over till it's over. That's what Yogi Berra said.
The fat lady sings.
Hey, LSU, Alabama. We are going to take a break. When we come back, Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com. We'll get Brian's perspective on everything that's going on with LSU and Alabama and what does he expect to see. He's Jordy Hultberg. I'm Tommy Krysan. Spread the roar. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, and on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. Stay with us.
It's a male
Since 1986, the family dental practice of Dr. Farrell Frugier, with state-of-the-art building and technology, and our highly trained staff, have been dedicated to providing care and treatment to our patients of all ages. The experience and advanced training in cosmetic and restorative dentistry, TMJ, and treatment of snoring and sleep apnea allows Dr. Frugier to assist you in achieving the best in dental health. Call us today at 225-292-9700 to schedule your initial evaluation because we know how to make you smile.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair.
My name is Raven. I work at Debbie's Bridal and she makes your dreams come true.
Acord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Acord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including Optimap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Acord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Acord Eye Clinic, Vision Source.
We continue with Tigers Roar, rolling into the second hour. We visit with Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com. With Jordy Hultberg, I'm Tommy Krysan. Brian, good evening. How are you?
Good. How you guys doing tonight?
Always a pleasure, Brian. Thanks for the time, buddy.
Brian, the hay's just about in the barn for the big matchup, LSU and Alabama. What's the very latest you're getting from the Tigers, and what do you expect to see on Saturday night, and what do you see as some of the keys if LSU is going to come out with a win?
Well, first of all, offensively for LSU, they're going to have to be able to have some success running the football. Everybody's saying, well, you can't just run the ball at Alabama, and that's correct. You can't just run the ball at them. But I think, and I'm sure LSU is going to do some things, and I think I've said this before. It wouldn't surprise me to see LSU use the same approach offensively in this game that Alabama did against LSU in the national championship game. If you remember, A.J. McCarron came out that night and threw the ball extensively in the first quarter. And, I don't think that Nick Saban was worried about getting any completions, but he just wanted to get LSU thinking, man, if they're going to throw, they're going to throw, and then come back with the running game. So I think that LSU may do some of that. You've already seen them do such a strategy since Steve Ensminger's been the coach, where a couple games have opened up on their first series with 4 wide receivers and thrown all the time, and then going back to the run. But still, when LSU does run, the offensive line is going to have to block. In this 5-game LSU losing streak against Alabama, LSU's tailbacks are averaging 3 yards a carry, and that you're not going to be able to win.
No.
You're going to have to be able, particularly for LSU, they're going to have to be able to run the ball some. So I think that LSU's going to have to try to spread Alabama out first, but then they're going to have some success and block them running the football. Defensively, here's the big difference between this Alabama team and the others. It's funny, I was, again, doing some notes. In the 5-game losing streak, Alabama's tailbacks averaged 173 yards a game rushing. So far this year, Alabama's tailbacks are averaging 173 yards rushing per game.
Really?
But here's the big difference. In these last 5 LSU-Alabama games, the Alabama quarterback has a net rushing total of 2 yards. Jalen Hurts is averaging 65 yards per game rushing, and that's the difference. And that's why this Alabama offense is so different, because they have the threat of a running quarterback. Think Nick Marshall. That's, not Cam Newton. Think Nick Marshall. That's what Jalen Hurts is. Not a great passer at all, but you run that zone read, you get run conscious, and then he pulls up and you find a guy wide open in the secondary getting behind a defensive back. And that's what Nick Marshall did effectively for Auburn 3 years ago, and that's what Jalen Hurts does this year. He's the guy. This is the first time Nick's had a running quarterback, really the first time Nick's had an offense. Probably the last time Nick's offense revolved around the quarterback instead of a running back was LSU's 2001 SEC championship team, where that offense was more revolved around Rohan Davey than any running back on that team, whether you're talking about LeBrandon Tofield or Dominic Davis. So LSU's going to have to, not let Hurts beat them running the ball. And, of course, then, they can't get fooled, because Alabama's still going to power run, with Damian Harris or Josh Jacobs or whomever. So those are the, offense, defense, those are the keys. Look, LSU's got to play well, but they also need Alabama not to play quite as well. They need Alabama to turn the ball over or just not play as well. Somebody asked me today, what happens if both teams play as well as they can? Well, if both teams play as well as they can, Alabama's going to win the football.
Yeah, I agree. Brian Lazar, TigerBait.com. Brian, one thing I think is being overlooked, but something that LSU was very effective against Ole Miss. They took Evan Ingram, one of the premier tight ends in the country, out of the game. I think Alabama has an even better tight end. What did LSU do in that game against Ole Miss to take him out? And are they going to do something very similar to take O.J. Howard out of the game as well?
Well, they use different guys on him. Sometimes Jamal Adams was on him. Sometimes, a couple times, Tre'Davious White was on him. There was a few times when even Kendall Beckwith was on him. So they just use different people on him. Alabama doesn't go to Howard as much as Ole Miss goes to Ingram, and the reason being is because Alabama's got 2 other pretty good wide receivers in Calvin Ridley and Ardarius Stewart. And that's the big difference.
They just save him for the national championship game, right?
Right, exactly. And Howard really hasn't hurt LSU that much in his career. He had the one long TD pass at one of the games in Tuscaloosa 2 years ago, but he really hasn't hurt LSU. And again, Ridley and Stewart are 2 very good wide receivers. That's another thing which helps Hurts. He's got 3 good receivers, the 2 wideouts, and then O.J. Howard at tight end. So, look, this Alabama team may be better. I think they are better than last year's team. And I didn't think that was going to be the case. But I think what Jalen Hurts has done has, no one back in mid-August thought Jalen Hurts was going to be the starting quarterback, much less play as well as he has. And then, the Alabama defense there's been no drop-off. It's just as good as it always has been.
Your buddy and a good friend of ours, Kevin Skarbinski from AL.com, I had him on my radio show, and he said, I asked him about comparing this defense to others, and he said, Jordy, believe it or not, this is Nick Saban's best defense. I said, you got to be kidding me. He goes, no, they're really fast. They're not that bulky Mount Cody kind of stop the middle, but they got speed, and more speed, and a couple of first-round picks on that front 7 that makes them so difficult.
Yeah, Jonathan Allen, very good inside guy. Tim Williams, pass rushing specialist. Reuben Foster. Look, everybody remember 2 years ago, Reuben Foster knocked Leonard Fournette silly on a kickoff.
Sure did.
In the game in Baton Rouge. And then in the secondary, of course, Eddie Jackson, he will not be playing. He's out for the year, but he's very good. But, they have other good players. Minka Fitzpatrick is a very good player. Alabama is, as Will Clapp told me earlier this week, and everybody knows Alabama rotates a lot of guys in on the front 3 on defense. And he says, well, it's not that they rotate fresh bodies in. It's that when the second group comes in, there's no drop-off from the first group.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's not that they're using fresh bodies. It's just that there's no really drop-off in talent when they go from their first unit to the second unit. Look, Nick's done a fabulous job recruiting. And everybody associated with LSU certainly knows how good a recruiter he is, and he's done the same thing at Alabama. And, he's got everything rolling right there, and they're the favorite to win another national championship.
Yeah. Brian, Ed Orgeron's indicated that physically the Tigers are in really good shape. Everybody's going to be available to play other than the guys that were hurt and out for the season. So we know they're good physically. What does Coach Orgeron have to do to have them ready mentally? Shouldn't be too tough of a task. Everybody knows all the ifs, ands, whats, and all of that. But this team has to be ready mentally.
Well, I don't think that'd be a problem. You just look. 2 years ago, the game here, Alabama was a much better team than LSU. Remember that was the team. That team was really struggling on offense with Anthony Jennings at quarterback, and LSU, should have won that game. And they played at a high energy level. And look, that's going to happen. You can go back to that would be 2008. The LSU team, which lost 5 games in the regular season. They took Alabama into overtime that afternoon in Tiger Stadium before losing. So look, LSU is going to be ready to go. They're going to, how good they're going to play. We'll just have to wait and see. But there won't be any problem with their emotional level.
Brian, you're an historian. You followed LSU football for a long, long time. If LSU is able to pull this one off, where does this one rank, considering who you're playing and how long Alabama has been dominant? I remember the 96 Bring Back the Magic upset of Steve Spurrier and the Gators, but where would this one rank in your book if LSU were able to knock off the unbeaten Crimson Tide?
Well, that's the game I was just going to say. Florida, that was 97. Florida was had won the national championship the year before, was on a good winning streak, and and if you remember that game, Florida helped LSU tonight, turned the ball over, and with some interceptions, and that's what LSU is going to need. That would be it would be that type of victory. Florida was number 1 in the country when they came in here and turned the ball over a little bit, and LSU took advantage and came away with the upset. So that's the game I would most compare it to.
Okay.
Brian, tell everybody what's going on at TigerBait.com.
www.tigerbait.com. Obviously, coverage leading up to Saturday night's game with Alabama. There'll be a basketball story up on the site a little bit later this week as they get ready for the opening of the Tiger basketball season. I guess that's a week from Saturday. And, the latest in recruiting and also the latest in the LSU coaching search, which as we start getting into mid-November, I think things will start picking up a little bit.
All right, Brian, as always, we appreciate your time. We'll visit with you when you report from the stadium during the post-game show.
Okay, talk to you guys later.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Do you ever? Brian's old school. WWW.
He's the only one.
He's the only one that says that. You ever type www?
No, but Brian's so efficient.
Oh, he is. Yeah.
You think
anything's out of place?
Dot every I?
You think anything's out of place in his home?
No.
Everything's lined up.
All the pencils are sharp.
Oh, absolutely.
If he still has pencils.
Oh, I bet he does.
You think?
I bet he does.
He's a scorekeeper for LSU baseball. You're right. He's got a bunch of pencils.
Everything.
Bunch of pencils.
Everything in order.
And loves baseball, as do we. And it's now 6-3. Ross with a home run. I got a nugget for you about David Ross from the Cubs.
Okay.
He's one of only a couple of guys to play in the College World Series for two different teams.
Did not know that.
Yeah, he was there with Auburn in '96, Florida in '97. How about that?
How did Auburn let him get away?
I don't know.
And how did he play right away?
Back then you could do that.
Oh, okay.
So in baseball. So anyway, we'll take a break, come back. We're going to let you hear from Jordy's old pal, Nick Saban. We got a couple of clips from him talking about this matchup. After this pause.
I got a great story.
You got a story?
Oh, Nick.
Story time from Jordy
Great
when
story.
we come back with more of Tiger's Roar. Spread the roar and stay with us.
We want you. Immediately after the LSU game, it's Pelican Sports post-game show with Tommy Krysan and Buddy Sanji. We'll have reports from the stadium, statistics, and game analysis. Your phone calls and text messages are welcome. The Pelican Sports post-game show right after the LSU game on Pelican Sports TV and CBS Sports Radio.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 800-383-8177. 800-383-8177.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
My name is Dr. Nicole Rogers, and I'm here in Old Metairie, Louisiana at Hair Restoration of the South, where your hair is our care. And I'd like to invite you to come and visit and discuss various options for treatment of thinning hair. These can include both medical and surgical options. You don't have to go straight to surgery. In the meantime, feel free to check out our website, hairrestorationofthesouth.com, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge. Come see this community, which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. Beautiful views of Cypress Lake. 1, 2, 3 bedroom apartments are available Stop by and see Cypress Lake Apartments. Give them a call at 225-293-6789 or visit online, cypresslake-apartments.net.
We continue with Tigers Roar, and we remind you about the House of Jumbo, located in the heart of Mid-City, 4800 block of Government Street, daily lunch specials. Got the catering menu. You're going to high school. High school's in week 10. That's amazing.
Regular season finale.
You're going to high school. You're going to LSU. You're going to Southern, wherever you might be going. House of Jumbo. Just tell Judy how many people you need to feed. They can take care of it for you. They got lots of good stuff, the daily lunch specials. You can eat there. You can get it to go. House of Jumbo, again, located in the heart of Mid-City, 4800 block of Government Street.
You can be 3-7 and get to the high school playoffs. I'm just saying.
You can be 0-10. There'll be teams 0-10 and 1-9 in there. Can we
let's not
save
go
that
down
for
that
some
road.
other time?
Yeah,
All right, the opponent for LSU Saturday night, the Alabama Crimson Tide. We got a couple of brief clips here from Coach Nick Saban, and Jordy's going to come back and tell you a little story about Nick Saban, like as if because nobody's heard them all. Jordy's probably heard more than most. Here's Alabama head football coach Nick Saban.
How's everybody doing today? Good. We got a lot of things done last week in practice, and felt like our team made some progress. Now, after a weekend off, always the challenge to get refocused on what you need to do to prepare for the next game, the next challenge, and obviously this is a tremendous challenge for us to play what is arguably an undefeated team to me because they've been undefeated since their new coach Ed Orgeron took over. They've got a very good team playing very, very well right now with new energy and enthusiasm. They've been a lot of really good games against these two teams through the years. It's kind of developed into a rivalry game of sorts because both been ranked over the last 8 or 9 years, most of the time in the top 10. So this is a real challenge game for us. We'll find out who we are, what we're made out of, and how we can compete in a very difficult circumstance. Ed took over this team, and they have played extremely well in the last 3 games in all phases of the game, on offense, defense, and special teams. They have some really outstanding players on both sides of the ball. Leonard Fournette is probably one of the most dynamic running backs that has played college football for a while and is playing extremely well right now. And when Geis comes in for him, there's not a lot of drop-off there, and the quarterback has played really well and created a lot of balance for him in the last couple weeks, and they've got a couple really, really talented receivers that are really, really good players, and they got a big, strong, physical offensive line that does a great job of executing their running game. And when you get to the defensive side of it, it doesn't really get any better. They're in the top 10 in a lot of categories, and one of the most difficult teams to score on. Very good in the front. Arden Key is a very good rusher. Kendall Beckwith is an outstanding linebacker who leads in tackles, but also runs the show out there and does a really good job. And this is probably the most athletic, talented secondary that we've had to play against, all year long. They've got really good specialists on special teams, good returners, good kickers, good punter, and they've got good team speed, so they're always really good on special teams. So this is a really outstanding team and a great challenge for our team, and we're just anxious to go to work today and get back at it with our players.
All right, that's Nick Saban. Jordy, you spent a lot of time with him on the sidelines and in interviews and whatnot, and locker rooms, and traveled a little bit. You got something for us?
I've seen the best. This kind of summed up Nick Saban then. I don't know if that's Nick Saban now, but I'll never forget. It was one of those non-conference games, and LSU's blowing this team out. It's like 38-0, and it's not even halftime yet. And Nick was always one to never congratulate. He would always find something wrong to keep his team on edge. So he's pacing back and forth, and I'm looking at him, and he calls the equipment manager over, Greg Stringfellow. And you remember how he looked at Monty Kiffin earlier this season? He did the same thing to Greg Stringfellow. It was about, see, everybody had their Nike-issued khakis except Nick. Nick had the no-belt slacks that were custom made for him. He got all Stringfellow because the pants were too long. So he is giving him a diatribe on the sidelines about the length of his slacks.
Custom-made slacks.
And I'm sitting there, I'm going, you got to be kidding me. But I figured it out. He coached better when he was mad.
Really?
He's a better coach when he's angry. He finds something to be angry about, and he delivered that message about, it's a new game at the half. Look, no, don't look at the scoreboard. 60 minutes, blah, blah, blah. And it all stemmed from his pants were too long for his liking. And that he chewed out the equipment manager, Greg Stringfellow. I'll never forget it.
I can recall a Saban story that he told at one of the pressers. This was not by no means anything private. And for some reason it always stuck with me. He talked about how one time when he was at Michigan State and they had a big win. They may have beat Michigan or something, had a huge win. And the next week they were playing like Purdue, and they were huge favorites. Right. And he said, in the first quarter, boom, 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 they down 28-0. Okay, game they're supposed to win. And he went to one of his assistants and he's like, what the hell? How is this happening? And the assistant said, Coach, we're going to be okay. And he goes, what do you mean we're going to be okay? Okay, we're on pace to lose 112-0. What do you mean we're going to be okay? And
they came back and won.
I truly don't know if they came back and won or not. I don't recall. I guess it could be looked up. But
look, he's the best in the business.
Well, I think this will sum up Nick Saban for you if you haven't heard this story. He eats the same thing for lunch every day, Monday through Friday. That's breakfast. So he eats a turkey sandwich every day at lunch at 10 minutes after 12. And you know why he eats the same thing every day? Because he does not want to waste time thinking about what's he going to eat. Like if me and you were hanging around, we're like, okay, you want to get a burger today? You want to get a salad? You want to get this? No, how about that place? I heard this place is good. Well, he don't want to waste all that time, so he eats what he's supposed to eat. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Ronnie Rant, Sports Shorts Radio, Sports Shorts TV, in that jumbo title of his now that includes Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Foundation. We'll get Ronnie's perspective on the matchup between LSU and Alabama right after this pause on Tigers Roar. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, and on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. Jordy Hultberg, Tommy Krysan, stay with us.
Plus Benefits has an important message for all uninsured Americans. It's official. Health reform has now become law. Now, uninsured Americans can finally get the health coverage they need with significant prescription benefits. Have you been uninsured, denied coverage, or struggling to pay your health insurance? Well, not anymore. Now there's affordable options with real benefits for people just like you. We know health insurance cost and being denied coverage due to pre-existing conditions has created serious hardships for many Americans. But that's a thing of the past. If you're uninsured, struggling to afford, or have been denied health insurance, pick up the phone and call now. The call is free, and every caller will receive a free discount prescription savings card. Call Plus Benefits Health Insurance Helpline today and get the health insurance and prescription coverage you need. One call can change your life for the better.
Please call 800-351-1511. That is 800-351-1511.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair.
My name is Raven. I work at Debbie's Bridal, and she makes your dreams come true.
All right, I want to remind y'all about Tremonti's Sprinkle Spice all-purpose seasoning. I'm using it on everything. It's the only thing in my spice rack now. It's the only thing you need. It's really outstanding. On steaks, I put it on eggs, vegetables. I can think of other things I will put it on. I'm just telling you, try it. That's all you got to do, and it'll be ready to go.
12451 Old Jefferson Highway, Segan Lane Airline, where Parkview Baptist Church is. That's Old Jefferson. Come on down. 751-7665. Any kind of party platter that you want for the end of the regular season in high school football or for the LSU-Alabama game, give them a call. 751-7665. They'll take good care of it. They've got all upper-end spirits and beers and everything there. Daily lunch specials. Tomorrow it's their world-famous jambalaya. They got world-famous hamburgers. It's so big, it's ridiculous. And it's just a great, great place. Turkey season's right around the corner with Thanksgiving. They'll fry them for you. They'll rotisserie them for you. It's terrific. And don't forget about the electrolyte for anybody who is a aficionado of the grill. You don't need starter fluids. You don't need lighter. You don't need anything. You just plug this thing in, put it on the pit, put it on the charcoal, and in about a minute, you got a flame blowing, and your charcoal is going to be ready in 5 minutes, good to go.
Tremontis.com, lots of info on the website, Facebook, all that good stuff. We're now joined by Ronnie Rant, Sports Shorts Radio, Sports Shorts TV, Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Foundation. Good evening, Ronnie. How are you?
Doing great, guys.
Ronnie, I don't know if the hay's all the way in the barn yet, but pretty much LSU Bama Saturday night. You've seen a lot of these contests up front and center with an eyeball view. What do you expect to see on Saturday night, and what do you think LSU has to do to end up with the win?
Well, based on a lot of these past games in recent history, particularly the last two home games, games have gone down to overtime or the final drive, and I think the way LSU's playing right now, I think everybody in the country, including the fan base, obviously in Baton Rouge, but just around the country, I think everybody thinks that the Tigers are going to play well, and this is going to be one heck of a game. And I would really be surprised if it wasn't. Obviously Alabama's a touchdown favorite; they deserve to be. And if you had to ask me who do I think is going to win, I would say Alabama. But it would surprise me if LSU, hangs in there, and if they can win the turnover battle, maybe they give themselves a chance to win it in the end.
We played last week your interview with Leonard Fournette after the record-setting game against Ole Miss. How motivated do you think number 7 is to atone for the games that he's had against Alabama? This is his last opportunity to get these guys.
It's incredible, Jordy. There's no question that Leonard Fournette wants to avenge last year where, the LSU offense was just completely mauled and shut down. But, wanting to and doing are two different things. Yeah. That's the only way Leonard Fournette has a chance is if they can throw the football enough to make Alabama, get those 9-10 guys out of the box and have to play LSU a little bit more straight up. If not, they're going to have the same game plan they had a year ago, and LSU, and they're going to probably have success because they've got the personnel to stop the LSU running attack if they don't trust that or have any belief that passing game can hurt them.
All right.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. We're going to look forward to your report in the post game. Before you get out of here, you've been around Nick Saban a bunch in the interview setting. You got a little Nick Saban story for us?
Well, just to give you an idea of why he's so good and what makes him so good, Skip Bertman tells a story about the time that they were all in a team playing, and this is back when Mark Emmert and his wife were still around, and Emmert, of course, the chancellor at LSU. And back when Nick Saban was the coach, he would allow the boosters and the big donors to sit in first class, and he and the team sat in the back. Well, Mark Emmert was up there, and they had the champagne going. They had the big donors, and they're popping bottles and having fun and kind of laughing and giggling. And this is on the way to a road game. Well, that didn't sit well with Nick Saban because, of course, he had his game face on, and he and his wife were sitting there not talking and being serious. And Skip Bertman picked up on the fact that Nick was getting upset, and sure enough, Nick sent one of his assistants or somebody to go over to Coach Bertman, and they said, hey, Nick Saban would like to talk to you when the plane lands. So the plane lands. Sure enough, Nick comes over, and he says, hey, how did Mark Emmert get those extra seats? And Skip's like, I don't know, but, he's the chancellor. Maybe that had a little something to do with it, And he goes, you tell him that if he wants extra seats, because he's only supposed to get 2, if he wants extra seats, he's got to send me a request and I'll decide if he gets extra seats and who they're for and blah, 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 blah. He goes, I want you to send him a letter on Monday, and telling him that. And Skip's like, all right, okay, I'll get right on that. And, of course, he's thinking when we get back on Monday, he'll have forgotten about it. Well, sure enough, they get back on Monday. He sends a little student worker up to his office. Coach Bertman, Coach Saban wants to know if you sent that letter yet. Skip's like, yeah, I'm going to do that later today. And then the next day he sends another person, and Skip says, yeah, I'm going to get right on that. And, of course, he's trying to delay. He doesn't want to send the letter to Mark Emmert. Well, finally, Yael, his assistant, Nick Saban's assistant admin, comes in on Wednesday, and she's got tears in her eyes, and she's like, Coach Bertman, I'm so sorry to do this, but can you please send that letter? And he goes, oh, okay, yeah, let me do that right now. She goes, I've got the letter right here. Can you please sign it? I have to go bring it to Mark Emmert's office myself. So Skip signs it. She leaves the office. He calls Mark Emmert on the phone, and he goes, hey, just want you to know that letter, I didn't write it, and I don't agree with it, and whatnot. And I said, well, Coach, what did Mark Emmert say? He said he actually just laughed on the other end, and he said, don't worry about it. He goes, that's what makes Nick Saban so great, is that he pays attention to detail. He's worried about every little thing and how it affects his team, and that attention to detail is what makes him so great. So he said, so don't worry about it. And he blew it off. And I said, well, what did he do the rest of the year? He goes, well, he just flew private on somebody else's plane and drank alcohol.
That's a good one, Ronnie. Ronnie, tell us about Sports Shorts Radio and Sports Shorts TV.
Sports Shorts Radio Monday night, 6 to 8 on ESPN in Baton Rouge. Myself, Buzzy Heidel, Joel Davis, and then, of course, Sports Shorts TV right here on Pelican. Mondays at 9, Tuesdays at 8. Check it out. We got Todd McClure joining us next week, and then, we got a lot of good stuff. Keep us in mind.
And what's the very latest at the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Foundation?
Well, getting everything set up. We're going to have Eddie Kinnison, David Toms, and Dee Bro, and on the field for the LSU-Florida game November 19th, getting honored in between the first and second quarter. Those guys are representing LSU and going into the 2017 Hall of Fame class. Ray Didier's family will be there as well.
Thank you, Ronnie. We'll talk to you during the postgame show.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, buddy.
All right, we'll take a break, come back. A little run around the state. We got a couple of things for you. We got the all-time leading rusher in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, Leonard Tillery from Southern. And we'll take a quick look at the Saints, who have won 3 of the last 4. Knock, knock, pay attention. They're getting a little better in a very winnable game this Sunday at Frisco. We're back with more of Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV. Stay with us.
We want you. Immediately after the LSU game, it's Pelican Sports post-game show with Tommy Chrysan and Buddy Sanji. We'll have reports from the stadium, statistics, and game analysis. Your phone calls and text messages are welcome. The Pelican Sports post-game show right after the LSU game on Pelican Sports TV and CBS Sports Radio.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
Acord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Acord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including Optimap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Acord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Acord Eye Clinic, Vision Source.
Friends, family, and community in surrounding parishes who have lost vehicles due to the flood. North American Auto Group is here to help. We have discounted over 400 pre-owned vehicles with no water damage. In addition, we have lenders offering disaster relief financing programs. We will also help you with your insurance and GAP claims. Shop online at NorthAmericanAutoGroup.com or visit us at one of our 4 locations in Baton Rouge and Gonzales. North American Auto Group. We make it easy.
Perkins Road Veterinary Hospital is a full-service veterinary hospital committed to your pet's health. We offer advanced diagnostic and therapeutic medical services, laser surgery,
dog and cat diets, and treats, along with stress-free boarding. Dr. Ritchie sees patients for routine checkups to keep your loved ones happy, also advanced medical and surgical cases. We have separate condos for cat boarding and large climate-controlled canine boarding. Our boarding dogs get to have fun in a very large play yard several times a day. Laser therapy is a service that we offer to heal wounds and help our patients that suffer from chronic pain. Laser therapy is a wonderful adjunct treatment for neurologic and arthritic pain with no side effects. Your pets are family members and deserve the best and highest quality of care. Dr. Ritchie and his staff greatly respect the human-animal bond and are committed to exceeding your expectations.
Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge. Come see this community, which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. Beautiful views of Cypress Lake. 1, 2, 3-bedroom apartments are available. Stop by and see Cypress Lake Apartments. Give them a call at 225-293-6789 or visit online, cypresslake-apartments.net.
Since 1986, the family dental practice of Dr. Farrell Frugier, with state-of-the-art building and technology, and our highly trained staff have been dedicated to providing care and treatment to our patients of all ages. The experience and advanced training in cosmetic and restorative dentistry, TMJ, and treatment of snoring and sleep apnea allows Dr. Frugier to assist you in achieving the best in dental health. Call us today at 225-292-9700 to schedule your initial evaluation because we know how to make you smile.
Continue with Tigers Roar. Jordy Hultberg, Tommy Krysan with you. We got to give credit where credit's due. Leonard Tillery, running back for the Southern Jaguars, has become the all-time career yardage rushing leader in the SWAC conference, who has clearly had their share of unbelievable ball players, including that Walter Payton kind of guy up there at Jackson State. But he broke the record, passed the record last Saturday in a road win against Alcorn, which snapped a long losing streak to the Braves of Alcorn State. So Coach Dawson Odom's Jaguars are undefeated in their division in the SWAC. And we got a little special love here that we're going to show for Leonard Tillery, the greatest running back in SWAC football history. Here it is.
.41-33 was the final tally at the game on the reservation. And Coach, before we move any further, we got to stop and give propers to the GOAT, Mr. Leonard Tillery, the greatest SWAC running back of all time. Leonard Tillery went over the 4,050-yard mark in the Alcorn game, and now he is the SWAC all-time leading rusher. There you see him on the TV screen, smiling in his good-looking suit, smiling in his jersey, and that's just how he is as a person, a nice, unassuming young man. Congratulations, Mr. Leonard Tillery, on becoming the greatest running back in SWAC history. Coach, a walk-on from McKinley, is now the all-time leading rusher in SWAC history. I'm talking about Sweetness, Walter Payton. I'm talking about Lewis Tillman. I'm talking about Destry Wright and so many other great running backs. Leonard Tillery sits atop that mountain with 4,132 yards and counting. Coach, talk about the honor to coach a young man like that.
Well, first of all, he's a great person. Great work ethic. He comes to work every day. Unbelievable talent. As well as off the field. His character speaks for itself. He's a great young man. He's always doing the things the right way. He's intact with his community. He's a great leader for our football team. He's deserving of that reward, and I'm happy for him, and I hope he continues to add to it. And there's no better guy that I'm happy for than that young man right there, Leonard Tillery.
For the record, he had 195 yards on the day. He needed one extra yard to do his career single yardage, and he had 3 touchdowns. Coach, tell us a little bit about what it was like when it was just you, your coaching staff, and the team after the game, just your band of brothers, and celebrating that moment.
Well, we just told him that congratulations on becoming the all-time leading rusher in the conference, and as he does all the time, man, he's always congratulating his offensive line, wide receivers, tight ends, all those other guys that play a major part in him accomplishing this goal. You know, he's a great guy. He's always going to do things the right way. He's humble, and he's hungry for more, and we're excited that he's a
Tip of the hat to Lenore Tillery. See if those Jaguars can keep it going. They're home this Saturday.
Sets up quite a Bayou Classic, doesn't it?
That thing's lining up to be a major contest, and the battle of the bands, the whole bit. Hey, don't look now, Jordy, but the Saints have won 3 out of 4. They're a game and a half back in the NFC South. The winner in the NFC South is going to be in the playoffs. Wild card's not going to come from that division as it looks now unless 2 teams really get hot. But the Saints, winnable game against Frisco this week out on the West Coast. Kickoff 3 o'clock Louisiana time.
Yeah, they got to get this one.
They're playing better and got to get this one.
I mean, they're good at home, but they've got to translate that on the road. That was, and the key to the game, extending drives, keeping the possession of the football, keeping your Swiss cheese defense on the sidelines.
And I noticed when Ingram fumbled, he never sniffed the field again. And
Hightower.
Peyton kind of went, well, Hightower got in the groove. Okay. You wasn't putting Ingram back in unless Hightower couldn't go in.
Huge advantage, time of possession. Huge advantage.
All right, we got some comments from Coach Sean Payton, along with Drew Brees and Hightower, talking about those New Orleans Saints for you. Heading to Frisco this week, here's what we got for you from the New Orleans Saints.
Obviously, it was a hard-fought win. Both teams, were grinding it out. I thought the turnovers ended up kind of offsetting each other. We had one that resulted immediately in a touchdown, and then we were able to get one back defensively, and that proved to be a big play for us in the first half. I was pleased with the time of possession. I thought that was an important statistic in this game relative to the snaps we were going to play defensively, and I thought we did a good job that way. We kicked probably a few too many field goals for my liking, and yet we scored and scored and scored and scored. I don't know how many times, and that's a good thing. And again, we're playing a real good defense. So it ended up coming down to the wire, and fortunately, we made enough plays there to get the win.
Listen, anytime we can get points in this game, it was critical. And I think the toughest decision was the one that happened early in the, second quarter, where we got down and it was probably 4th and 6 inches inside their 10-yard line. But we're down 7-0, and you want to be able to match the score, but the smart thing to do, the right thing to do, which is what we did, was to kick the field goal, take the points, and like you said, keep the momentum going. I think from that point on, I'm not sure if we punted. It was methodical, just trying to sustain drives, being very efficient, run to pass, being very patient. This is a defense that thrives on teams getting impatient against them and trying to force things. And so, we knew the type of game it was going to be coming in here. We knew how physical a team they are. We knew just how prideful a group they are on the defensive side of the ball, and so we knew we were going to have to earn every ounce of what we got out there. And I got to give a lot of credit to our offensive line. Those guys up front did a phenomenal job. I think we ran the ball more today than we've done in a long time, and man, they really set the tone from the first snap in that regard. And Tim Hightower had an unbelievable day. The receivers did a phenomenal job blocking on the perimeter too. That's kind of the secret sauce when it comes to the run game at times, is those guys' ability to open up opportunities for the back once he gets past the first level, and they did that. And we did what we had to do in the passing game. We sustained drives. Third downs were really good. You look at, we were 2 of 5 in the red zone. You get inside the 10-yard line on those 3 times where you ended up kicking field goals, and you say, had we just had a play here, a play there that could have gotten us in, that would have been good. But listen, we'll take the W.
Let's keep winning. Let's keep winning. I try not to put too much on stats. Whatever it takes to win, that's what I want to do, and that's why I'm here. What I do hope is that we can take some things from this game, and I think we did a great job of playing complementary football, and that's what it takes down the stretch. When you start getting in November, December, in the playoffs, it's not about one side of the football. It's about playing complementary football. Offensively, defensively, special teams, and just kind of keep plugging away. I think that's the big thing about what we did today was when things didn't go well early, we stuck to it. We stuck to the game plan. You know, man, they gave us some tough looks, you know, running the football, but we stuck to it. And we stuck to it, and we kind of just stayed patient and took what they gave us, and in the fourth quarter kept ourselves in a position to win the game. I think we did exactly what we needed to and what we wanted to do. We knew coming in here it was going to be a physical game. You know, Seattle's been arguably one of the best defenses in the league for the past couple of years. So, you know, when you're watching film, you see that. So you know, as an offense, you got to sustain drives. You know, you got to control the line of scrimmage. You got to give your team a chance to, you know, in the fourth quarter win. And I think that's what we did today.
All right, we are going to...
Gotta beat Frisco. Gotta beat Frisco.
Got to do it.
The only chance
then
they've
they
got.
got Denver coming in next week to the Dome.
Gotta beat Frisco. Get to 500.
We're going to take our final break, come back. I'll have some of what I think might be some keys in the game this Saturday night. He'll toss some stuff in for you. He's Jordy Hultberg. I'm Tommy Krysan. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans.
More points.
The internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. Spread the roar. You're watching Tigers Roar, and we'll be right back.
4 more points.
Attention small business owners. Penn Funding announces the easiest and fastest business funding program, the Platinum Business Account.
We needed cash fast. Business is good, but this is an emergency. We needed some new equipment, and the banks wouldn't help us.
At Penn Funding, we like to say, yes, you're approved. With your Platinum Business Account, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more. This amazing new business account funding program is so effective, you could have the cash you need in just days.
I called, spoke with an agent who pre-qualified us, and connected me.
Call now for your Platinum Business Account. If you've been in business for at least 6 months, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more in just days.
I called Penn Funding and had my money fast.
Need cash for your business? Call Penn Funding now.
Call 800-552-8621. 800-552-8621.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
Friends, family, and community in surrounding parishes who have lost vehicles due to the flood. North American Auto Group is here to help. We have discounted over 400 pre-owned vehicles with no water damage. In addition, we have lenders offering disaster relief financing programs. We will also help you with your insurance and GAP claims. Shop online at NorthAmericanAutoGroup.com or visit us at one of our 4 locations in Baton Rouge and Gonzales. North American Auto Group. We make it easy.
All right, final segment here on Tigers Roar. We remind you, original air is Wednesday night. If you're catching us Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, thank you for watching when you can, or at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Well, a couple of thoughts on the big game Saturday night. Nothing that I'm coming up with, just the high points that I've heard over and over again that I think are also important. The play of the offensive line, as Coach Orgeron said, protection. That's going to be key. Then we can go through the list of cliches. Don't turn it over. Don't have too many penalties, certainly not costly penalties. Don't allow the big play. I mean, nobody plays a perfect game, but LSU's got to come damn close to being perfect, maybe get a lucky bounce of the ball or something, and maybe Bama doesn't play their very best. And then I think if that all happens, get to the fourth quarter with a chance, maybe LSU can do it. They've been tough on them in Baton Rouge, and obviously Saturday night's in Baton Rouge.
These games, very physical games. It's always one up front, offensive line, defensive line. For LSU to have any chance in this game, in my humble opinion, they're going to have to come up with a defensive play, a turnover, and kind of flip the script on Alabama. Alabama with 9 defensive touchdowns already this year. LSU's going to have to get a Troy Twilley interception or something like that. And they've got to You got to strike early. You got to give this electric crowd something to feed on. It's like, blood in the water with sharks. You got to give them something to get into a frenzy over. And maybe this rookie quarterback has that hiccup that he hasn't had yet.
Well, he hadn't played in Tiger Stadium.
That's right.
He hadn't went against Arden Key and the LSU defense and Dave Aranda, although Bama played him last year. It's a different thing now with Jalen Hurts. And, Brian Lazar made the point of how effective he's been running the football. LSU's got to contain him a little bit, too. Bama,
he does a lot.
I mean, they're not going to – I don't think LSU can stop Alabama. They got to contain them and, maybe get a break, a tip ball, pick it off, turn it over.
Alabama showed
Coach Orgeron's big on the turnover stuff. If they can create some. And then I like what you said. The crowd's got to be huge. It's got to be into it, which they should be both of those things. And then the team give them a reason to get in a frenzy, to use your word. And then, anything can happen after that. They were in a frenzy tonight. They beat Florida in 97. I was in the stadium. I was in the south end zone about halfway up.
The PMAC was in a frenzy when we took down mighty Kentucky back in 78 or 79. I can't remember exactly what year it was. And you have to play. We played really, really well. You're going to have to play well. You're going to have to get a little bit of help. And the crowd certainly plays into it. Yeah. But look, let's enjoy the moment.
The crowd can make a difference, and the crowd needs to do it.
Let's enjoy the moment. Doesn't happen very often.
Oh, it's a special.
Enjoy it.
Whenever college football was invented, somehow, some way, they must have had this kind of thing in mind. The weather's going to be extremely pleasant.
Is it going to be hot again?
It's going to be in the 50s once it gets dark.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay, it's going to be a very nice night for football.
Break out a sweater.
It's going to be a very nice night for football. And, the crowd, the campus, the city, South Louisiana, a lot of Bama fans are coming. You're going to see that. And it's just all the stars are lining up. Let's hope the game lives up to the expectations. Lots of times games like this don't live up to the expectations, such as Super Bowls.
But it's going to be a pretty special night.
I hope it's close in the fourth quarter and those fans are all over it, and we'll see what happens. And then somebody make a play. And don't make a costly mistake, and we'll see what can happen. Huh?
Don't play prevent defense at the end. Aranda won't do that.
His defense has flown under the radar with all the other stories from, Harris to Etling to Miles, the injury to Fournette, all these other things. Ed Orgeron, the job that he has done has been under the radar. But trust me, it is fantastic.
I want to see Fournette get $150. I want to see LSU win, and he gets a seat at the house, at the Heisman House. He's not going to win it, but he gets invited to New York City.
Well, a big game would go a long way in that invitation showing up.
$150,
you think he's got to get $150? Well, he got 31 last year.
$150.
And look, he won't say it either, but he wants, as you said earlier, he wants to atone for that. Ronnie said the same thing.
A big time one.
All right, backing it up a little bit, we want to thank Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com, Ronnie Rance of Sports Shorts Radio, Sports Shorts TV, and the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Foundation.
Good stuff.
All the good folks at Tremonti's, Mike Tremonti. This stuff is really, really good. I highly recommend it.
Everything
you won't be disappointed, and so many things in there. Yep. Stop by the address again real quick.
145, oh gosh.
You're tired.
I'm tired. I'm exhausted. 10452 Old Jefferson Highway.
There you go. Tremontis.com. All the info you need is right there at Tremontis.com. Get you an electrolyte.
I'm taking
gift cards for the holidays, the whole bit. You did the Heisman on that? All right, that's cool.
Good night,
all right,
everybody.
Most importantly, we appreciate you watching us, whether you're on the original airing, the rebroadcast, or YouTube. Thank you so much. Spread the roar about Tigers Roar. We'll talk to you right after LSU Alabama with the Pelican Sports Postgame Show.
Oh, that Tiger.
Attention small business owners. Penn Funding announces the easiest and fastest business funding program, the Platinum Business Account.
We needed cash fast. Business is good, but this is an emergency. We needed some new equipment, and the banks wouldn't help us.
At Penn Funding, we like to say, yes, you're approved. With your Platinum Business Account, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more. This amazing new business account funding program is so effective, you could have the cash you need in just days.
I called, spoke with an agent who pre-qualified us, and connected me.
Call now for your Platinum Business Account. If you've been in business for at least 6 months, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more in just days.
I called Penn Funding and had my money fast.
Need cash for your business? Call Penn Funding now.
Call 800-552-8621. 800-552-8621.
Friends, family, and community in surrounding parishes who have lost vehicles due to the flood. North American Auto Group is here to help. We have discounted over 400 pre-owned vehicles with no water damage. In addition, we have lenders offering disaster relief financing programs. We will also help you with your insurance and GAP claims. Shop online at NorthAmericanAutoGroup.com or visit us at one of our 4 locations in Baton Rouge and Gonzales. North American Auto Group. We make it easy.